He said he'd notice right away when it is.
Live.
Yes.
All right, good afternoon all. Welcome to the O and M agenda. I'd like to get a motion to approve the minutes of last month's meeting.
So move.
Mr. Dickinson. Oh, I get a second. Mr. Mayor, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Kevin, you want to start with the agenda?
Sure. The first one we have is a resolution. This was a resolution that brought back to, I think, maybe February, which authorized reimbursement to the village. We talked about doing an authorized budget amendment, but as you'll see in the details, it said it was authorized budget amendment for 2021 invoice from the village of Lake George related services to Wood Park. As for the county treasurer's office, funds for 2022 budget have to be paid invoice. Amendment to the resolution of the necessary to rescind the authority for the budget and the authority to reimburse.
I'll move it.
Mr. Dickinson,
Second.
Mr. McGowan? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
So the next item we have under our discussion items, and you can see we have events that are coming back, or some new events. I'll let the mayor talk to them, but I put each one up what the dates were.
Yeah, I printed out an up-to-date schedule for everyone. If you can pass those down, it's okay. And I can give you three for the other. And it's an up-to-date schedule of the events booked for the 2022 season. It actually is 17 events, which is a new record for us at Wood Park. And also with the closing of Hunter Mountain, I was able to get their contact information. And from there, and I'm working with a Wing Fest, which was a national Wing Fest put on down there. If they don't come this year, they'll certainly be here next August. And also, they had a very successful Oktoberfest, which is held the middle of October, and there is a strong possibility that that gentleman will book this summer. And just yesterday, we booked a new event that's not on the schedule. I wrote it in August 5th and 6th. Jonathan Newell is bringing over his 60s revival show for 2 days from the Strand Theater in Hudson Falls. So the new events are this amateur boxing championships, which are being sponsored by the United States Boxing Association. We have a ring, we have everything we need to do that. A very different event, actually outside, and a Euro foreign car show, which was here about 4 years ago, but now they're going to do one in the spring and one in September. And then the tow truck show just signed up to come back. And we have, of course, the Lake George Gala, which we discussed previously. I just want to point out as part of my report that I understand Lisa Grant is retiring, and I just want to, for the record, Mr. Chairman, say it's been a pleasure to work with her. All of our staff in the village sends our regards to her and hopes that she hopes the very best for her in the future. She's been a pleasure for us to work with. And lastly, I would like to also note that the ice castle has been broke down. They did a really good job spreading it out as much as they could. If you go by there, you'll see that they spread it right out to the very limits that they could. So hopefully it will melt as soon as possible, because our first event is May 14th this year. And I'm really concerned too about the tow truck show coming in, hoping that things will be dried out pretty well by then. It's going to be a learning experience, I'm sure, to see what impact that has had on the festival space. But I don't think there's any doubt, no matter where I go, no matter what business I speak to, they're just raving about the business that ice castle brought to Lake George. It was so noticeable on the streets of the village, both during the week and on weekends. And even if I went into a restaurant in Queensbury or Glens Falls, they would say, wow, the minute the ice castle was here. And it was easy to tell the impact because he would cancel on specific days at the last moment. Like he might have to cancel on a Friday because it rained on Thursday. And the hotels in Lake George would get calls, 46 rooms, 36 rooms canceling if they could. They were obviously people that were coming just for the ice castle. So it was very easy to track. They came from all over. If you go on the internet, you'll see hundreds of responses about how wonderful it is. And I think the most important thing is next year, when he does come back, it will be a new model. So you won't be going into the ice castle and seeing the same things that you saw this year, which I think will make a big difference with the people that want to come back. The average time inside was 35 minutes. It was cold. And I noticed one young man proposing to his girlfriend, and it was the quickest proposal I've ever seen in my life. He was on his knees, and I was afraid he wasn't going to be able to get up. But we took a picture of it, and it's just another byproduct of. We also had a couple of weddings, and it was just the greatest thing. Thanks to Warren County Tourism, Joanne, all the people, Gina, that worked so hard to get that here. It was the largest attraction, I think, to hit Lake George in a long, long time.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for those comments, because we're seeing the same thing. And the results of probably next month, you'll hear about the OC tax and the bed tax all incorporated in that. It's just phenomenal. It really was. And a lot of people worked on it, not just tourism, but private sector. And, it was a great hit, and they're going to come back. They didn't commit to a long term. We just had that meeting on YouTube, but they're going to be back next year. And like you say, they are going to try to change it around a little bit, trying to come up with some ways to have less problems, especially with the ice and the water freezing. But we're looking forward to it. So, and thank you for all you do for this festival space and booking all these rooms. It's a privilege working with you on this.
I just have one question for Kevin. What's the status of the sign? We're not able, as you know, to change the sign, the big LED signs with all these new events coming. They're asking, can you put it on the sign? Are we waiting for a part or something?
We are. So I believe it was last committee meeting that went through the board that I said that we had to get a contract for the sign company. The modems that were on those signs had basically expired. They were for 3G, which no one's using anymore. So we had to upgrade the modems to 4G. And with that, we also needed a contract with them to run basically the service. It's in place. We're just waiting for the material to be delivered to us. I think the indication that Betsy received as of Friday that it would be coming in the next week or week and a half.
Good.
So, and then we'll have the IT department here at the county install those.
That's great.
Kevin, you have anything else?
I don't have anything further.
Mr. McGowan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mayor, I do want to thank you for all you do up there. It really, the ice castle was a huge success, and I was so happy that it really, they picked us for their place to come, and looking forward to them next year. I did have a chance to come back through there yesterday, and it is still a pile of ice out there, isn't it? But they did a nice job just dispersing it all over and hopefully it will melt down quickly and get absorbed and our ground will be dried. But I also wanted to reach out. I read the article with the J1 and the housing for the J1, and I really appreciate you doing that. This is a huge impact for our tourism to get help in here. And I'm wondering if, Mr. Chairman, if there's anything that we can do to help out the mayor, because, you know, Queensbury benefits from the J1s too, and just not the village. So it's something that actually we are based on tourism all over Warren County. And the J1 is really the workforce behind us in the summertime for the influx of people that we get. So.
Well, our committee is meeting actually tomorrow to organize for the summer. And we do have representatives from Queensbury and Bolton on that committee. What we're really looking for, and I'm working with Dennis, we want to make this a joint effort. We've identified a couple of programs where funding is available. Grant funding might be available, but what we really need to do is, in the 1950s, when I came here, I hate to date myself, but you all know that, we had a dormitory exactly in the spot where the Marriott Hotel was. It was called Sisson Court, and the dormitory held about 70 employees, and they weren't students all then. A lot of them were transients that came up from Florida, chefs, cooks, everybody. They all lived there, and it was a great asset to the community. And if we can find a piece of property and we can find the funding, or we can purchase a piece of property, perhaps a motel that's been put up for sale, an older place perhaps, that we can refurbish and rehabilitate, we do need some rooms. The visa program right now, these kids used to come here and some of them didn't have a room. They can't get a visa now unless they have a room and a job. So I talked just the other day with Clay Lewis from Inter-Exchange, and he said, Mayor, we've got requests for a lot of people again, but we can't find the rooms. So the shortage this summer, if we have any, will be because we can't find rooms. You know, the Great Escape, they bought property across from them. That's exactly what we have to do in Lake George. The Sagamore bought a house and they lodged their students there. That's exactly what we have to do, and we need the business community to be our partners. And if the business community steps up, certain businesses, we can put aside a few rooms for them each year for their investment. That's, I think, the way it should work. And when we formulate, we finally get a concept going, and we find out where the money might come from, you can bet we'll be back, you know, to Warren County. We'll be back to Queensbury and Bolton. But first, we've got to identify the cost, the location, and then we can go after some funding. And that's going to happen starting right now.
No, that's good. I'm glad you take that up because you do a good job on it. But I read your article. Yes, the business people have to step up. These J1 visas people are coming in to help them. And some of these hotels have to give up, not have to, but should give up a couple of rooms to staff a few that might work someplace else.
The way it's got to be. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Gowan. And Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you know, but Lisa's right behind you, sitting in the gallery. So
I didn't see her, but Lisa, I have a lot of money for you. Here. I was wondering who was going to give it to. Dennis wanted me to give it to him outside, but I wouldn't.
no, don't give it to Dennis.
I'll give it to you, Lisa. And that's all the applications with the checks, all been approved by the village.
That's good, Mr. Mayor. Any other comments, suggestions? Anybody out in the audience like to say anything? Up. All right. Don, is there anything on YouTube?
Hi, Chairman Merlino. There is nothing on YouTube.
All right. So I'll send a motion to adjourn. Mr. Dickinson? Can you get a second? Mr. McGowan? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.